Your penis is meant to be played with.
If you had a logo, would you have some random woman whisper it, kind of like Funimation and NVIDIA?
Yeah, but it would be something really graphically horrible, like gay butt sex. You know what I mean? I guess that's not really horrible, but graphic.
I have one. I have an amputee fetish.
Ooh.
That's the name of it.
Alright, I've got another confession to make. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
To be completely honest, I've got two things I need to say.
Okay.
The first is I probably shouldn't even be playing this tonight.
Because you're gay.
Okay, the second thing, no, the first, my grandmother's in the hospital.
Someone, get me out of this thing!
Listen, the bat is on the way. If you see him, send the annoying doctors to hell. That's the down one, right?
Yeah, they're going down.
Good. And remember, if you hear a collar go off, Batman's here.
Joker's men are all wearing the security collars. I'll need to take out the operator first.
My grandmother is in the hospital right now in the emergency room, but nobody can visit her because her blood pressure is dangerously low, so she had to be tested for a bunch of stuff. This would not to be graphic, but this would not be the first death in my family in multiple years. My father died. Both of my grandparents on my other side died. My grandfather on this side died. One of my aunts and uncles died. One of my aunts just died. So to say that I'm like kind of bummed out would be like a gross oversimplification of the situation.
Well, it's really worrying because it's so close to your aunt's funeral that just happened a few months ago.
Why can't I do a ledge takedown here?
You know, it's just very sad.
It is very sad, and I guess my point is that I am sad, and I'm going to do my best to have a fun time on the game because I can't do anything about it, and we ran out of footage for this a little bit ago, which is why we haven't played it recently.
Mm-hmm.
But if I seem down at all, I'm not as much in a joking mood. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
And I was also going to say that the other thing I wanted to add is I've noticed that...
Little alarm bats? Shame on you! Drop the cage!
Oh, right, I did forget about it. I forgot you're not allowed to take anyone out.
Played you like a violin and cut your strings. Nighty-night, Bat.
I wasn't even thinking about it either.
I was thinking about my grandma.
Yeah, me too. That's hilarious.
I was thinking about something more important to me. Okay, let's skip this.
Joker's men are all wearing the security collars.
Okay, so don't take them out.
Take out the operator first.
Yeah, I need to take out the operator first. I wasn't even listening to dearly departed Kevin Conroy, another person in all of our lives who unfortunately has passed.
Someone who felt like family, honestly. Even though we didn't really know him, but you know what I mean.
Well, speak for yourself.
That makes sense.
Maybe I knew him. Maybe I'm just not telling you.
When someone like that goes, it feels like you knew them your whole life because you've been hearing their voice since childhood, even if you didn't really like meet them in real life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it hits kind of hard even still.
Yeah, it's very tragic in that way, I agree. I'm probably going to end up going back this way. The other thing I wanted to mention is, the more we play this, the more I've noticed that first off, there's little bits of lore I don't remember at all. Like, people point out that, you know, Dr. Cassidy, that was one of the people that we actually ran into when we saved the doctors.
And some guy,
the Harley, or the Poison Ivy victim,
yeah,
too.
the Poison Ivy guy who got, like, pheromoned by her.
Which, to me, doesn't really make any sense, how all of these people managed to be saved by Batman in the nick of time, but...
You know what doesn't make sense to me? Why Dr. Cassidy and Dr. I think his name was Kaufman, why they would both still be working here after what happened to them. I can understand maybe Dr. Kaufman wants to continue working here because he was, like, victimized by her pheromones, but he just wouldn't be near her anymore. But Cassidy almost died.
It is odd.
I would not work here anymore. I would go
right.
to a different mental hospital, wouldn't you? I would move. I would get a new address, a new name. I'd go to a completely different city, maybe Metropolis. They seem safer. I'm just saying.
Do they seem safer?
They got Superman.
That's true. Oh, nope, don't go up, don't go up.
I'm just saying, if I was Cassidy, I wouldn't still be working here. And yeah, I didn't notice at the very beginning that was them because, like, again, I haven't played this game since
I just didn't look at the names, and I never figured, like, to me, it didn't make logical sense that either of those people would have still been here if they survived.
Yeah, that was for me too, and also...
It still doesn't, by the way. It still doesn't make logical sense to me. At least that, like, oh, she opened the door, but Batman happened to show up at that exact moment the phone call went off. Oh, and he came back after going missing from Poison Ivy. I guess to me, like, I know you're supposed to suspend your disbelief a little, but that makes no sense.
Well, also, for me, I haven't played this game in so long that, like, I didn't bother looking at the names of the doctors at the very beginning and, like, trying to connect it to the interview tapes because I didn't remember...
But the hostages are still in danger.
Because I didn't remember the interview tapes, like, when I played, you know?
Get out my puzzle, eh? That's, well, good for you. Do you remember about my alarm? How you guys couldn't summon Taxi? He's here.
So, like, after hearing those interview tapes, then if we saved Dr. Cassidy, I would have been like, oh!
Gone to your heads, bird brains? Batman will be here any...
But because it happened beforehand, I didn't put two and two together. Does that make sense? I feel like it would have made more sense for you to get that interview tape and then save Dr. Cassidy, because then it would have been like, oh, you know?
Yeah, also I didn't expect him to turn around at the exact millisecond I went in for the kill, or for the takedown.
Oh, that's okay. Are those getting lowered?
No, we're putting them up higher, so if they drop, they fall further.
Nice, that's what I'd do.
Then
They're getting lowered.
We're gonna put a Tony Hawk ramp at the bottom so they go...
Oh, okay, they're safe. Good, good.
Also, not to be mean, because
Joker wanted the entrance to the Titan production plant guarded. I should pick up Harley's trail again so I can find
He's a
it.
chatterbox. I don't know what to tell you.
Not to be mean here, but I don't even know how people remember lore like that. Like, you must have to replay the game a lot of times, because I used to make lore videos on this, and I never really thought about Dr. Cassidy.
Well,
to be completely honest.
You know, a lot of these people that I've seen...
like this guy?
True. I wouldn't say, like, necessarily, like, the viewers of this Let's Play, but I've seen a lot of people, especially on Reddit, who, like, the only thing that they do in their life is just replay these games over and over and over.
These games are amazing, but I couldn't do that. And also, as somebody on the spectrum, I get being hyper-focused, but, like, there's some things that it actually shocks me people know. It's the same thing with movie trivia. Like, there's some movie trivia, I'm like, how do you know that?
I don't know, it's
like,
crazy.
Like, I was hyper-focused on Star Wars as a kid, and there was still stuff where, like, somebody else would blow me out of the water with their hyper-focus on it, you know?
Jeez.
Like, they would be like, oh, yeah, look, at this point in the production, you can actually see George Lucas's cock ring, like, hanging on the edge of the screen. It's like, how would you notice this?
I thought I was gonna pass out. I can't stand heights.
You know, again, nothing wrong with it. Like, as long as you're not being a dick. Like, if you're...
Hey, I think that's an interview tape behind that guy.
I will get it. If you're elitist about it, like, oh, I know everything about Robert Sterling, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know about Robert Sterling, and you go off on, like, a thing. It's like, okay, that's loser behavior. But otherwise, it's fine. It's neat you know stuff. I just don't know how some people know that level of it.
I think it's neat people know stuff, but if they start to get, like, mad about it, then I'm gonna say, okay, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like,
then you're being a loser.
Yeah, because
wait, let me talk to
Sterling. The only thing you
Sterling.
have in life is this.
I'm sorry. I thought I was working for Dr. Young. I had no idea Joker was involved until he burst in the lab.
Where is the lab?
Back over there. I always get buzzed through. There's a hidden door, but, well, you know, it's hidden.
I'll find it. Stay here.
I've heard this voice. What is that voice? I'm sorry. I thought I was working for Dr. Sterling.
He sounds like Winnie the Pooh.
I don't know where. Okay, somebody with like in-depth knowledge of Dr. Sterling's
we need the lore
butthole.
People.
I need to know where that voice is from.
Curtis.
Well, whatever.
We need Robert Sterling.
Robert Sterling.
Yeah.
I thought the program was legitimate. I had no idea Joker was behind it.
He kind
Is
of
it the
sounds
same
like
guy
Zaz.
I was gonna say, is it the same guy who did Zaz?
Yeah, I think it sounds like Zaz.
Or Scarecrow.
Yeah, one of them.
One of them. Let's listen to this. Someone else who didn't die.
No thanks to you. The poor man could have died.
So,
He has a wife, a child.
as do the plants he tramples underfoot. The spores he breathes in and destroys have children. Why does he deserve anything more than them? You people ignore what is happening in front of your eyes.
I refuse to put the welfare of plants before the welfare of people.
And that is why you will lose. There's more happening than you know, Warden. It's all connected.
Why do you have your finger in your nose?
I had an itch.
Oh, okay.
I had a really bad, like, nose hair itch. So, okay, this one makes sense. People would know he survived.
Oh, because they mentioned he survived.
I didn't remember the last interview tape. But the Sarah Cassidy
one...
one...
You haven't played the game before.
I've played the game a lot of times.
I'm just kidding, Pook.
I know. Whoa, what'd you call me? Is that a racial thing?
Yeah.
I've played the game a lot of times. It's just there's going to be certain little things I don't remember. Maybe from now on I just shouldn't comment unless I know. So when you ask me these dumb little questions like what happened to that guy, I guess I should whip out my phone and look it up because there's someone out there who knows.
You need your encyclopedia of Batman Arkham knowledge.
I would buy that if they made so I bought speaking of like hyper-focusedism behaviors, I bought the Legend of Zelda lore books. Like the encyclopedias and stuff.
They really need to make those for Batman, and I feel like
if they made them for the Arkham series, I'd buy them instantly.
I feel like the crazy autistic Redditors who know absolutely every single thing about this game, including...
We're not calling you that if you're watching this, by the way.
Including Batman's, like, inches size in his pants. I'm just saying, they could write the book easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I'll tell you this, I was impressed that people knew... Like, this one's not out of the realm, because people... There's a lot of people who care about the height of people. Like, they find that fact interesting. I was impressed that people remembered Batman's height, because I didn't.
Yeah, apparently I got it fucked up, so there you go.
Well, I'm still maintaining he might have been in platforms.
He could have been.
You don't know. Look at these boots. They're real thick. They're thick boots.
Speaking of platforms, I saw these really cute shoes on Amazon that are like Converse knockoffs, but they're like pink and sparkly with sparkles all over them. Mm-hmm. And I want them.
Oh, you could have gone in this way. I forgot.
Oh, so you're stupid.
Well, there you go. That would have been an easier way to do it. I guess I was just challenge running it.
You were challenge running it.
Somebody else, I'm not going to remember who you are, sorry, but somebody else was talking about how there's, like, certain things you can do for speedrunning this game to skip whole sections of the game, which I found interesting.
Jeez, you can really skip whole sections?
Yes.
That's crazy. I wonder how people figure that out.
Messing around with the game a lot. Which makes sense. I mean, I remember there's, like, builds on the Wii U of, like, Sonic Boom, that another hyper-focus of mine growing up was Sonic, that, like, if you have, like, a specific update or not a specific update, you can break the game and skip ahead, like, 5 hours or something.
Oh, my.
It's kind of crazy. But, again, I'm always impressed people remember that stuff, because it's, like... That's my thing, too. You know, Nate and I talk about speedrunners. He has a different opinion on it. Nate doesn't really care for speedrunning. He sees it as breaking the game.
Oh, yeah.
I find it interesting that people can manipulate the game to do something that it wasn't meant to do.
You know, I understand Nate's point of view on it, though, because I do...
Oh, well, sorry, we ran out of time. No more you.
Well, look who's discovered our secret lab. Since you've made it this far, let me show you what I've cooked up.
Oh, real quick, somebody also mentioned that you could have saved the one guard who Joker threw in the water if you had, like, shut off the power to the water ahead of time, and I didn't remember that either.
Wait, so you let him die?
I guess he's dead.
Dang.
I didn't say it's, like, a perfect Batman playthrough. This is, like... We're like the Robert Pattinson Batman. We're prone to make some mistakes.
Yeah.
You know? We're learning. You know, we're learning.
Well, also, isn't it more fun to see us make mistakes rather than it be entirely perfect, in my opinion?
I don't know. I wonder if people would like it more if I knew everything about it. I'm not sure.
I personally, when I watch Let's Players, I like to watch them make mistakes, because I think it's funny.
I don't like it when they're incompetent, though.
Yeah, I don't like when they're, like, really incompetent, but, like, when they make, like, a little mistake here and there, and it, like, changes certain things about the game, I think it's kind of fun, because it's, like, if I wanted to play it 110% perfectly, I'd just go play it myself.
Well, as somebody who usually plays games 100% perfectly, it's just out of character for me to make a mistake at all.
That makes sense.
You know?
That makes sense.
What I'm trying to do is make the audience feel better, because I'm like, okay, well, you out there, you would have gotten hit and died by now, so I better let that guy hit me.
That's true. What I was going to say about Nate, by the way, is I see his point of view on the whole speedrunning thing, because I would find it interesting to see how quickly somebody could get through a game without breaking it. So, like, if you played the entire game normally, but you were doing it as fast as you could. I would love to see the times for that. And I do think sometimes, like, doing the breaking the game, like, skipping through parts and stuff is also interesting. But I find it less interesting because, like Nate said, it's just breaking the game, you know?
I find both very interesting in different ways. Because, like, I've always found being able to manipulate a game very fascinating without hacking it.
It's very fascinating that it's possible to do.
Like, how can I get through... Like, let's say that I could jump through that wall in that corner and glide to the Joker boss. That's really interesting to me. And there's a way to do that dive bombing in Arkham City, actually near the beginning.
Oh, really?
You can dive bomb right near the beginning of the game. Then you end up under the world, and then I believe that you can glide all the way over to inside the Monarch Theater, basically.
Jeez, and then just, like, basically do the end of the game?
Yeah.
Does it trigger the cutscene?
Yes, because the trigger is you getting in there, but that door is locked until the rest of the story triggers are met. So if you can get by that door...
Wow, that's really interesting.
But if people weren't interested in breaking the game, no one would know you could do that.
Yeah.
What I don't really find interesting... Is the game too loud for you?
No.
Or is it just this part?
It's just this part.
What I don't find... Or what I don't find as interesting is when someone just goes on their console commands on PC and just does something.
That's stupid.
Like, oh, I just unlocked the door. It's like, I understand doing that if the game is broken. Like, let's say the game glitched out and you were supposed to be able to get through and you couldn't. But if you just, like, if I just went on console commands and I said, despawn 2 Titans, that to me is not the same as, like, figuring out how to manipulate the game to do that thing.
I agree.
See, that's where, like, I would be disinterested, is if a speedrun was just going in and, like, you know...
Breaking the game, like, with commands.
Via commands or something.
Yeah, but I also do find it interesting, like, I wonder how fast somebody could beat this game, and I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere, but how fast somebody could beat this game legit. No shortcuts, no glitches.
Well, it is still legit, though. This is where I disagree with Nate, because they still put it in the game.
No, I know, but I mean, like, the way it was supposed to be played. You know what I mean?
No, I understand. I get that. It's just...
Oracle, I've destroyed the Titan production facility. But Joker escaped with enough to cause us real problems.
Just when you think it can't get any worse.
They've been using a venom plant hybrid to create the Titan strain. The plant's the key. And there's only one person on Arkham Island who can help us.
And what makes you think Poison Ivy will help you?
If her plants are at risk, she'll listen. I have a sample of her pheromone signature on record. She'll be somewhere in the gardens. I'll track her down.
I think there's also a lot of people, though, who aren't a fan of, like, the idea of how the game is meant to be played.
I want her pheromone signature on file for me.
Do you know what I mean, though?
No.
I mean, like, a lot of people like to play a game how they want to play it.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, it's interesting that Nate feels that way, because not to attack him in any way, I'm not saying, like, he's a hypocrite. I mean, we're all hypocrites.
Well, he's a big, stupid poopy pants, that's for sure.
We're all hypocrites in our own way, but, what I mean by that is Nate also, if you tell him how to play a game, even if you're right, he'll get annoyed. So, like, if you tell Nate how to... I'm also letting you take a picture here of me standing, because you don't get a lot of good pictures of some of these. If you tell Nate, hey, that's not how you're supposed to play the game, he'll get annoyed. So, you know, he likes player freedom. But only to a point.
He also gets annoyed if you try to take the controller from him to help him.
Even if he can't do it himself.
Yeah, so, like...
You need something to get over this ravine.
So, like, when we were making his GTA 5 character on Xbox, I basically had to pry the controller out of his hands to help him make, like, a super huge Chad chin.
But then he was really happy once you did it.
Yeah, and after I was done, he was like, this is the best thing ever! But before that, he was like, no, I can do it myself!
Well, yeah, and we're not picking on Nate. He's one of our best friends.
I like picking on him.
But I do think that there are some... You know, like, what I'm saying is there's some people who really value their creative control, too, with playing a game. And they don't like being told you're playing it wrong.
The thing with the character creators, it's so hard to use on there, and I knew what he wanted, and I wanted to help him make his vision that was inside his head.
His vision?
Yeah, because I knew he wasn't going to be able to put it out there.
Like he's some kind of visionary?
Well, you know, it's just I know him so well that I knew what he wanted. You know what I mean? And then afterward, it was like, yeah, of course I knew what he wanted. That's right. I'm the best GTA character creator there's ever been in GTA.
That's your call to go watch that Let's Play. It's funny, it's interesting. Sometimes it's the three of us, sometimes it's just
My
me and
character's
Jill.
the sexiest out of all three.
No, I don't think so. Mine is.
No, mine is.
Mine is.
Mine is.
I don't think so. What do you think that is? There's some lore guy who knows what that is. What mushroom is that? It's a spore. Do you think it's one of poison ivy's?
I don't know. It looked kind of like a red button to
Well,
me.
they were using those. They were using these plants to make the Titan, along with the thing.
It's actually the placenta that Ivy gives birth to every time she makes a new plant.
It's the placenta that turned Ivy into a child.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's
also the placenta of my pussy.
Okay, all right. You know, I don't think it would be, like, out of the realm of possibility for someone to ask the question of why everyone involved in Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League was interested in kids in some way, considering that I believe Sweet Baby Inc. was hired, and they like babies, according to their name at least. Sweet Baby Inc.
And then they turned one of the, like...
main characters into a little girl.
Yeah, but one of the main characters that's known for her sex appeal. You know what I mean?
Jokes aside, I actually think that's because of, like, no matter how you stand on this, we like games like Stellar Blade, and we also like games that are completely unsexy, like Fallout 3.
Do you need my help, Batman? Do you give up?
But is there a riddle in here that I don't remember? Oh yeah, there is. Let's try to grab that really quick. But at the same time, I think it's above me. I think that when it comes down to it, there's like a push of like things can't have sexuality in them.
Yeah.
This
so
was
do you think they changed her? Do you think they changed her to be a killer moth?
Yeah, Killer Moth,
That's cool.
Another villain you never actually fight that you could have fought and who was, shown. I can't remember if he was one of the ones that Red Hood kills in the comics, but then the comics are kind of like not canon anyway.
I would have loved to see him in these games.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a kind of a cool villain. But do you think that's why they turned her into a kid? Because they didn't want her to be like her normal sexy self where she doesn't wear any pants?
Yes. I think they were going far out of their way to eliminate sexualization from that game.
So their idea was, let's take one of the sexier characters of Batman Arkham, but make her a child.
Yeah, well, so I mean, maybe it's like the opposite of pedophilia because they know children should not be sexy.
And then every single man in a 5-mile radius, except for like the weird ones, all of their penises shriveled.
As they should if a child's involved. Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, you have to use the triple backlaw to get through there, so we can't do that yet. The other Riddler thing there. It's the wall. Yeah, no, I think a lot of that is just we need to remove any kind of sexuality from these games. But I think it's hilarious to see because now some of the biggest games on the market are ones that cater to sexuality because it breaks down barriers between languages. Like, I've seen these stories about like a man who went to World War I and a French woman he fell in love with, and they couldn't even speak each other's language, but they fell in love and had sex and like slept together and then ended up having children and started a family. I've seen stories like that. And you know why that's a thing? Because like sex doesn't need language, right? Like
body language is universal.
And there is like a level of I find you attractive, you find me attractive. And as long as nobody's forcing themselves on each other or like coercing or something, it's like, okay, well, this is like a biology thing too. And so like you have games like Stellar Blade.
And also that French woman was grippy.
That's true. You have games like Stellar Blade and you have games like Nikke, both from the same company, that are just smashing, records for money and making a huge amount of money. And then these developers, they can't really deny that money.
Right, my darlings. I'm here now. My poor darlings. Yes, I know he's found us, but I won't let him hurt you. I'll kill him first.
Ivy. I know Dr. Young mutated these plants to produce venom.
Yes, and I heard it through the grapevine the evil woman paid the price.
I need you to help me create an antidote.
Why should I? Let Joker have his fun. I'll enjoy watching you squirm.
You've been in the dark too long. Every plant on this island will get the same unless you cooperate.
There's a plant growing deep in Arkham Island. Only it can counter the effects of this Titan strain.
Where do I find it?
Oh, in Killer Croc's lair. You didn't think it would be easy, did you?
Go back to your cell, or I'll be after you next.
And I'll be waiting.
What an interesting coinky-dink, by the way, that there just happens to be a plant.
I need to find a way into Killer Croc's lair. It's somewhere below Arkham Island.
There's nothing on the system about where he's kept.
I found a door near the Batcave, but it's shut tight. There's got to be another way in. I left guard Cash in the mansion. I'll see if he can shed some light on where Croc's kept.
That there just happened to be a plant that just happens to counter the effects of the Titan serum.
Well, I think most medicine at its core is from plants, though, so it kind of makes sense if it was made from a plant.
Oh, no, I know. I agree. I'm just saying it just happens to be on Arkham Island specifically. It's not like in Puerto Rico or Singapore.
That's a good point.
Wrong turn! We're here to make sure you stay where you are. Yeah, go back and play with that bitch for a few more hours. The boss isn't ready for you yet.
Oh, I'd go play with her.
No kidding.
I tell you what, if I was Batman, I would be fooled.
I didn't know what you meant. I thought you were just saying it was dumb that there was a plant. But you're right. It is silly that, like, it's a good thing for the narrative that it was here.
Yeah, because, like, I can totally buy that there's a plant that could counter it, but I have a hard time buying that it just happens to grow on Arkham Island.
All right,
you know?
let's not pick a bunch of holes in one of my favorite series.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying.
We have to suspend our disbelief here on some things. We already are having to understand that Dr. Cassidy somehow survived, so we're just gonna let it go.
Yeah, I'm glad that Batman saved her, but that's crazy. I thought she was a goner for sure.
I don't know how he would have managed to get there in time.
I don't know. I mean, he's a fast guy.
The power of plot.
Power of plot. I think it's just because they didn't want.
I don't think they wanted Poison Ivy to be an irredeemable bastard in these games. But it's odd because...
Well, I mean, also, Zaz. We're talking about Dr. Cassidy. Zaz.
Oh, sorry. I meant the guy, Dr. Kellerman or whatever. That's what I was thinking of in the back of my head for how he lived. Look, I put him on the...
Oh, you thought Poison Ivy would have killed him?
Yeah. I don't...
That's funny, he's taking a nap.
I mean, like, I just have a hard time believing that she would have a... I mean, she would have no problem with him dying, obviously, so...
Do you see he's touching his nipple? Go back. Look at his nipple.
Yeah, he's got to be, stimulated. Look at this guy. He got, like, one last ass grab.
Ooh,
see
nice.
That?
And look, that guy's, like, in perfect position.
And it's an interracial couple based and woke.
Oh, look, that guy got a little touchy-touchy, too.
Yeah, that's like a threesome thing going on.
Nice.
No, I agree, and I there's always going to be narrative, conveniences with a game.
I'm surprised he saved Dr. Cassidy from Zaz.
Yeah, that one I am surprised on. Sorry, I got the two mixed up at the same time.
That's okay.
I was thinking about both of them.